Why is it a bad idea to submit to screenwriting contests?
I think that you need to have a plan. So it's a bad idea when you don't plan it out. I think that contests can be great and they can be a great way to jumpstart your career because granted, it's hard to get a script out there, right? You can be querying and you can be networking. You should be doing all of those things. But when it's a bad idea when you haven't polished your script enough, when you don't have a plan of action, when you're just targeting really random competitions and don't have a plan of action. So contests obviously are not a cheap thing, right? It's a lot of submissions, that's a lot of extra money. So you need that plan of action. You need to know if your script will do well in a certain competition. You need to do your research. Some people just send out their scripts without realizing that certain competitions are really more awarding scripts that are dramatic and not horror, So you need to have a plan of action. If you're writing a very niche type of script, research the contests where that script would do well. And I think that they can do wonders for your career, but you also need to continue working on it. So like, let's say if you submit to a festival, then you should try to attend the festival and network and meet other people, meet other writers, actually do the job. I think that a lot of times writers just write and stay in their own sheltered space, hoping things will happen to them. And just like in stories and the protagonists of the stories, you should take action and not just wait for things to happen to you because that's not how writing works. You should be out there. You should be networking. You should be attending festivals, submitting to competitions, querying agents and managers, and doing all of the things and taking it as a job. I think that a lot of writers forget that it is a business. You need to treat it as a business if you actually want a career in writing. And because of that, you should be, working on all of your marketing materials for your script and not just have your script. Nowadays, so much more is expected from you as a writer than just your script. If you're writing a TV show, you're expected to have a show Bible and a pitch deck. You're expected to have a log line. You're expected to have a selling synopsis, elevator pitch, a 5-minute pitch, all of these materials that you should already have ready when you submit to a competition or query someone, because nobody will wait for you to go write them once they show interest. So let's say you send a query, to a manager or an agent and they write back, sometimes you send 100 queries and you only hear from 3 people. And that's actually a great number. But if you hear back and someone shows interest in your script, you should have all of these things ready because they're not gonna wait, 4 months for you to go write a show Bible or a pitch deck. You need to show that you've done your work and also hopefully have more scripts in your portfolio because nobody obviously wants to work with a one-hit wonder. So once you're starting to market yourself as a writer that people want to work with, one of the things is having all of these things ready so people know that they can trust you, that you're someone who's invested in this as a business, has all of these marketing materials, has more scripts under their belt, and is seeing this as a business, as a path, as a career.
Do you think it's detrimental sometimes almost to win a contest and then rest too much on, no pun intended, the laurels of that because now you think, okay, now I don't have to do any work.
Oh yeah, no.
I've won this.
That's the worst thing a writer can do, definitely. A competition is a stepping stone, but it's not a guaranteed career. If you win a contest, then great, but that means get to work, contact people, query people, put that you won the Nichols, the Austin, put that in the query, reach out to the people from the festival, attend the meetings, attend the networking events, keep working, keep writing. Maybe that script, was your calling card, but you should have others under your belt. Maybe that made you kind of quote unquote famous for writing, dramedies. Have other dramedies, because they're going to expect you to have something kind of like in that area, so you can show.
And then for the screenwriter who's been rejected from all of them, what should their game plan be? Maybe go back to the drawing board? Maybe they're not ready for a contest or,
I always say that if you're starting your writing journey, you should try to submit to the smaller festivals that offer feedback. A lot of them offer free feedback. And when you're starting, every penny counts in that sense, and you're just starting, to hone your skills and perfect your script. So I think that those are great kind of like stepping stones so you can work on your script. And then once it's polished and maybe starting to do well in the smaller ones, then you can submit to the bigger competitions. Granted, if you've been submitting to the Nichols year after year and the script is just not advancing, then stop submitting that script there. Perhaps submit a different one, and that script either might not be good for that competition or might just not be what people are looking for at the time. Maybe you can go back to the drawing board. Maybe you can put it aside for a little bit, work on something else, and then my inspiration might come to continue working on it. But again, you shouldn't just keep targeting the one script for 10 years, because then you're not producing anything else, right? You might write 20 scripts and only one gets sold, but you need to keep writing if you want to achieve something. Also because that is the way you're honing your skills, right? The more you write, the better you get at it, and the more chances you get to actually have a career in writing.
One of the classes that you teach at UCLA Extension is entitled Get Your Script Contest Ready. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that new writers have about entering screenplay competitions?
I think that a lot of writers think that winning a competition is just an immediate career starter. Yes, that could happen, obviously, but competitions are just one of the many ways that you can have a career. You need to do the work. You need to be writing. You need to be marketing yourself. You need to be networking. You need to be doing things that are going to advance your career. I think that that's one of the problems that they could have. Winning a competition is really hard. The amount of submissions is insane, so you need to, again, have a plan, target competitions where your script could shine. So do your research and know if it's a drama, which competitions, award dramas and things like that. But also know that your script might do well in one, but not do well in another. You have to kind of like know what happens, but then continue working and continue writing, continue submitting to different people. Opinions differ. Maybe the writer who read your script for one competition just didn't, connect with the story, but someone else might connect to it. So don't just rely on the competitions. I think that that's one of the biggest things. Like people think, oh, it's all about winning that one competition and that's the only path ahead, because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to get out there. They want to just write in their own bubble, and that's not really how it's working anymore in the industry.
What is networking in this virtual age? Especially things are still not really opened up. They may never be in some realms.
I mean, networking is still working in a way. Obviously, it might have changed. But in that same sense, if you're not in LA or New York, you can still network because you can still attend a lot of like Zoom panels and things like that. I think that networking can be done in different ways. School is a great way to network because connecting with your peers and with your teachers is a great way to kind of build that network to help each other succeed and get ahead. A lot of the people that I work with today, we all came up from like grad school together. We worked on so many projects together. That's how we hone our skills. And if we have something happening, those are the people we call, to come along and kind of keep going with us, and we help each other out. The same with teachers, you might not be necessarily working with your teacher right away, but they can be a great reference, if you need a letter for getting an internship or something like that. I've written a lot of that for some students, because I see their work in class, and when they reach out to me like, hey, I'm trying to get this job or this internship, do you think you could write me a letter? I obviously do that because we connected in class and they showed that they really wanted, Working on set is another amazing way of networking. Being a PA on set, you get to understand how things work from the inside. You get to connect with people, especially if you want to work on television. Working as a PA is kind of like one way into the things, and maybe potentially a writer's assistant job or things like that. Or just understanding how things work from the inside also helps your writing. attending festivals, attending all of the actual in-person events that are opening up more these days. That's a great way to connect with others, film markets and things like that, writing workshops. There's a lot of even groups on Facebook, screenwriting groups where you can meet other people. A lot of them do, live readings of scripts and things like that, or there's so many channels and things that just connect you with other people in the industry that I think all of those, and you shouldn't just be targeting one of them. You should try to do as much as possible to network, but that's one of the ways to really get ahead.